Alright, what's up everybody? Welcome to my channel. I'm Xavier Garcia. Thank you for clicking on this video. Again, I'm Xavier Garcia and this is the Ultimate Psychology channel. I create awesome videos, at least in my opinion. I'm doing my best to create awesome videos to cure all your life. And this is about taking a life that is, maybe you're in your most challenging spot into a successful level, or if you're already successful, at a high successful level, to take you even higher into the next level that's available for you when you're reaching your optimum potential. And so when I make a claim like this, and I'm no clinical psychologist, I'm just a guy here speaking from his heart, from his own life experiences, and wants to connect with you because I've seen some things where, just like all of us have, where we've made a mistake and we see where you want to help people avoid those mistakes, to save them time, to save them pain, and so they can enjoy a better life for themselves. And so I'm just one man on his journey, and this is the way that I express myself in this by sharing these videos and these messages and this information. And I like to think some of this wisdom because I've made course corrections, and now I have a momentum that I've never had in my life, where I feel like I'm becoming more unstoppable every day. But this quality of life wasn't always, I think, available to me, or just wasn't in this life. I hadn't built it, I hadn't created it. And I had to go through the hard knocks of life to experience it for myself firsthand, so that way I know very intimately what it's like to have to claw and scratch my way through life, barely hanging on by my fingertips, pulling out my hair, going through that stress. And that stress produced a diamond, and I'm thankful to God that I didn't give up on my life back then, because I wouldn't have all that I have today. And on top of that, the promises that I have for tomorrow, because I've chosen to stuck it out, and because I took those leaps of faith. I did have the perseverance. Those things have paid off. The hard work has paid off. And now when you begin to have those habits and you do those things one after another, and you learn what it takes to develop this life, then you become unstoppable day in and day out. And it's always going to be a battle. It's always going to be a fight every day, but you can be winning, and you can be on top of it. And although life is a learning process all the time, you do develop competencies at certain core areas of your life that you've chosen to make valuable: your relationships, your health, your finances, and you can begin to prosper and blossom and flourish in life. And so this is totally capable for anybody. The problem is, and the thing is that every successful person, everybody goes through, at least for the most part, a dark night of the soul, a situation where their life seems like it's upside down and it's impossible. Maybe they've had good times and their life is down in the gutter, in the toilet, in the sewer, and they don't think they could ever get it back, or their life has never been good and they don't think it's ever going to get better. But we all have this point where we get to decide where we give up. And a lot of times I felt like it was grace or God that got me through these situations, and that carried me even when I couldn't carry myself, and even when I wanted to quit and wanted to give up. He wouldn't let me. He had plans for me. I could have chosen to ignore those things, but I didn't. I didn't try to fight that. But for a long time, I was a loser, and I felt like that was a town I lived in. But I knew I couldn't give up. I didn't want to give up, and I didn't know if I was just going in vain. And it took a decade of time, from graduating high school, not knowing where I was going to go in my life, not knowing my true identity, and then going through the reality of adulthood in real life, when you have all this open freedom, all this responsibility that you can create and shape your destiny, not knowing I could even do that. And then when you realize you do want to do something with your life, it's like, oh my gosh, it's insurmountable. I can't do it. And if I would have known everything that I would have had to go through up until this point, if you would have told me, hey, to 19-year-old Xavier, hey, you're going to have to go through these trials and tribulations, you have to go through these pains, these struggles, this type of despair and depression, but don't worry about it, you'll make it on the other side, I probably wouldn't have seen the other side. That picture couldn't have been glorious enough for me to be like, to see what's in front of me, like I cannot cross that chasm. But what it took was daily little steps, and being faithful, and having the faith to just take one step at a time, one baby step at a time. When I saw other people taking big steps and passing me up, and thinking like, dang, my ego was so big at the time. I thought, especially graduating high school, I thought I was going to be this big hot shot. And when it came time to even go to my high school reunion, my 10-year, I was too broke. I was single and embarrassed. And I thought everything that I was meant to be, I was supposed to be like this golden child or this kid they would always tell me, oh, he's got so much potential, and I just thought it was all for nothing. I remember having a girlfriend leave me, and she cheated on me, and we were a long distance relationship partners at the time, and I wanted to shoot myself and kill myself because that pain. I allowed someone who's not even in my life anymore, and that was so dramatic and so big in my life. It was all consuming. It was the biggest thing in my life, and I thank God that didn't happen, because I would have never found my true soulmate in life. And that pain that fueled me to the fact that it didn't work out. It wasn't a waste of time, because I got my education in relationships, and God bless her soul for that. But if I ever see her again, that was a valuable experience. It enriched my life so much, and it allows me to appreciate my wife that I do have now. And now my wife and I have, have a longer relationship than that previous relationship, and it seemed like that was my world. And so I'm saying, like, whatever you're going through right now, we're going to get emotional. We have beliefs that it's never going to get better, that what's the use of trying? I've already tried everything, and I'm going to ask you and encourage you and try to give you some encouragement to give it another try, to take a step back, to keep the goals that you have for yourself. And you might not ever hit those goals, because life is it's less about achieving your goals, and it's more about developing your character. It's a personal inner journey, the best version you can make of yourself. When you have setbacks, when you have these lemons and turning them into lemonade, even if it doesn't happen overnight, right? Rome wasn't built in a day. And you might have to sacrifice, these big dreams that you've had for your life, growing up thinking that at 25 I was going to have a certain lifestyle, and I was going to, I made it, that I arrived, I've become the man that I've wanted to become, and it didn't happen. And knowing it's like, darn, where do I go from here now? But little did I know at the time, because I didn't have these resources. We didn't have the internet where I can have this information, or even people around me who can support me in the way that I needed it. I would read books, and I didn't find what I was looking for but I kept searching. That was the key. I kept searching to find the answers. I was like, no, this is not good enough. There's got to be something better out there. And then I realized, like Gandhi said, be the change you want to see in the world, or write the book that you want to read. And so I'm in the process of that. And now I have meaning, because I may never change your life. There's going to be, hundreds, maybe thousands of people watching this video, and not all of you are going to, save yourself for the better future. Some of you guys are going to take your lives, and that's sad, and that's a disappointment. But life goes on, right? We're not going to miss you in a way, in a sense, but like, of course we are, because that shouldn't be your fate, and it is true that only the strong survive. And it is harsh. It's a harsh reality. It's a cruel world. A lot of us, mostly in society, we have to put on this stoic front, because dealing with these issues are just too emotional. And so when you're reaching out for help, people, there's a kind of a gross expression where, like, 80% of people don't care about your problems, and the other 20% are glad that you have them, right? And you have to take people off their pedestal and stop expecting so much expectations out of the way other people are supposed to act and treat you. People don't owe you nothing. We don't owe you anything, okay? And that's a hard truth, a hard pill to swallow. But when you have that, and then you have the self-acceptance, like, I got my own back. It's just me, myself, and I, or me and my God. Then you can begin to, like, what? God have mercy on their souls, or forgive them, for they know not what they do. And not that you should expect people to disappoint you, but you should know that we're all fallen. We're all in a fallen world, that nobody's perfect. And we have to be able to work with it. We're all broken together. Okay, so give yourself some grace. Give other people some grace. And I'm asking you, and this is one of my strongest encouragements, reach out and talk to a counselor. I have some links down in the comment section, or in the description below, that there's trained professionals, people that you can talk to and voice your opinion. My thing is to never stop clawing, scratching, and looking for the answers. You know, if you need to medicate yourself, you know, legally medicate yourself, okay? You might have some brain activity, chemistry that needs to be balanced, and for a period of time, you know, it might seem like an extreme action, but get the help when people are offering you, and take that help so that you don't take an irrational action when you're caught up in the moment. And you know, I've been guilty of this myself. I've done things that I've regretted, right? And then I have to go up and I have to, you know, make up for it and cover my mistakes. But death and suicide is not something you can come back from. You can't be like, oh, you know what? When I was drunk or when I was with that girl, you know, I had the attitude like, I don't care, you know, and you have those things that I don't care, and you wake up the next morning, you're like, oh, what did I do? And oh man, I was just caught up I was in the heat of the moment, or I was, you know, I was drunk last night, and so I made that mistake. You can do that for those things. You still have to cover, you know, suffer the consequences, the repercussions of it. But suicide is not something you can come back from. And you may not be lucky, so lucky, where you're like the guy who jumped off the Golden Gate Bridge because his life was that bad. And I'm not saying that I can relate to any of the problems you had, even though I've had suicidal thoughts myself and I wanted to take my life. You might be going through much more pressure than I've ever experienced. And this is the time and opportunity for, even if nobody can help you, like I mentioned, me writing my own book, even if nobody can help you, that you take on the responsibility to innovate and you create a new meaning out of something. Because nobody's going to, if you're trying to accomplish something that's never been accomplished before, even if whether it's a goal or it's overcoming a disability that you have, it might seem impossible to other people. But when Roger Bannister wanted to run the 4-minute mile, everybody told him he was crazy, that it was scientifically impossible. And yet when he did it, all kinds of people started doing it, and more people do it all the time to this day. And so you might be going through some odds and nobody's going to believe that you can do it, or even yourself, but you have to believe in miracles, that something can happen. When you know, and people are going to get a piece of you. You know, sometimes you're going to lose some battles and you have to cut your losses and take the L. Be humbled, okay? Give up your dream so you can gain a destiny. And maybe it didn't happen the way you wanted to, but on the other side, if you keep going, you can still find that enrichment in your life. You can still find fulfillment. You can still have a meaningful life. And one precious second, one pure ounce of that kind of fulfillment in your life, that precious beauty, is worth, you know, 99 years of suffrage and all that you have to go through suffering. So, because it is. And if you don't have that belief, then nothing can help you. But you have to know that it is. And I'm a testament for myself. I have the conviction that it's definitely worth it. Luckily, I've done it earlier in my life. But even if I didn't, I would know that I wouldn't change nothing. I wouldn't give nothing back for the world. You know, it's like, you know, when I was getting married, and now that I've been married for almost a few years now, we're going on our 3rd anniversary at the time of this video, December 2019. You know, it's just like, yeah, you have premarital sex, whatever. And, you know, I'm growing in my Christian faith, and so my standards are growing, my morality is growing, and I'm like, dude, you know, like I wish I would have saved myself for my wife. That when I got married, yeah, I was dressed in white, and God renewed me, and we stepped in new faith, that we were cleansed, and we're stepping into our marriage on the right foot. But at the same time, now I realize how precious a kiss is. And I wish I would have not even let anybody have a kiss. I wish I would have saved that for her. I can't go back. I can hopefully teach my children that. And that's washed. I've been renewed. I can move forward. I have the forgiveness. But at the same time, that is still there. I'm marred by it. But it gives me a greater appreciation for those things, and I hope maybe to pass it on to my kids, my children, or to the next generation. For just any one of you out there, if you want to save yourself for marriage, save yourself for marriage. Because there's purity and there's a beautifulness. And no matter what you're doing, you have to make a sacrifice. You're going to have to be different from the world. You're going to have to be isolated and alone. And that's okay. That's where you develop yourself and you find out what you're really made of. So when you go to that bottom floor and you find out, you know, the cement basement that you're in, and you're emotionally and psychologically and spiritually, know that it's okay, and just to take a moment to breathe down there. Okay, it's a scary, dark place, You might feel like you're being attacked by these dark forces, and yes, you are. There's a spiritual war, a battle going on for your soul, and you can't let them win, right? You can't let them win. In these moments when we get emotional, of course, going back to the brain chemistry and the brain balance, the chemistry balance, you take the drugs, and hopefully it's not to last you a lifetime or to be on them or dependent on them. Your goal is to be drug free and to live the life that you're meant to, or just better, just not being in that situation, just so you can be stable and have some stability in your life. And so wherever you take the drugs, you get off of them, and people are maybe going to make fun of you. There's a stigma about doing those things in some places, in some circles. Put that on the shelf. Like, cut it off. Don't worry about that. Let them have their laugh. You keep your own dignity, no matter what they can say about you. You be a man or a woman of self-respect, of dignity, knowing that you're taking care of yourself and you're handling you're carrying your own weight. And whatever they're going through, let that be on them, because they're not going to have the satisfaction in life that you're on your path to. Maybe they've never experienced what you're going through, and therefore that's where you're going to be. You're cultivating your soul to become a better human being. Then eventually you'll get past all that noise, all that crowd noise. You'll be able to just like ignore it. Be above the influence and ignore the noise. Trust me on this journey by continuing to go. If you need to put things on the shelf, then let it go, and so be it. So, don't believe, what I want to say is also too, don't believe every thought that you think. These thoughts come and go. You have to take them captive, and don't judge yourself or be shameful for what you did. You got to give yourself forgiveness if that's what's holding you back, or maybe you lost some people some money. Maybe you committed a crime that you feel guilty for and that you don't feel that there's forgiveness for. You can repent of those things. You can get through these things emotionally, whether it be through God or just you taking the actions to make things right in your own special way. And it might be unique. People might not understand or be an orthodox way of doing things, but you can find a place, even if you're stuck in a jail cell and what's done is done in the past of the past. You can still get through those. There's nothing new under the sun. There's nothing you can't get through or overcome and become a new person. So get the help you need, and don't take your thoughts personally. It's just, just like we have, sometimes if we eat too much, we burp. Okay, that's fine. Excuse me, I'm sorry. You move on from it. If you have a thought, let it go. Those things are not you. What you have to do is you have to take conscious control of the thoughts, of what you make meaning out of things. So if you're having a thought, you need to stabilize or get the situation handled. And so sometimes you have to be like, stop, right? Cut it out. Stop it. Stop the pattern. And you have to get that kind of authority and that in your voice, that inflection, and even in your mind, because this is a battle, and you have to cut those thoughts out. Focus on something good right now. Focus. I can do it. And you have these convictions, and you say them with strength and power, and it has to be sometimes in blind faith, because you might not know why you're doing these things. And if a door closes on you, you have to trust that a door is going to open. It's just the way the maze of life works. But if you don't stick at it long enough, you'll never know that for yourself. And you can't have a defeatist attitude where, when it comes to like some suggestions, if you're not feeling well and, everything's abysmal and it's just gray and it's blue and it's gloomy, and, you want to say like, go out for a walk, right? Go watch a motivational movie, where people have triumphed and overcome some things, Unbreakable. I like the movie with Cuba Gooding Jr., and he's trying to be like a military officer, and these movies are motivational, and you see people striving. You're not alone. A person takes their life, I think the statistic is every minute someone takes their life, and it's even a little bit more than that. So it's atrocious. And these types of things, I feel like maybe it's just my perception, but growing up, suicide wasn't on the table. It wasn't something, it was something not talked about. I have to fact check it. It was either something that not talked about or just wasn't happening. But now we live in a social media world, and people are posting these things. And the thing is to make us conscious and have awareness for this this dilemma, or this crisis that we're having in America and across the world. And it's to bring awareness, but sometimes what I also see it doing is that it promotes it, and it says that that's okay and that that's an option, and that can't be an option. You know, just like failure is not an option when you're going for success, suicide can't be an option for you. There's no good fruit that's going to come out of it. And then you can get into some spiritual things that with the karmic effect, that energy just transfers forms. And so whatever pain you have, you're going to take with you and into the next life, and you have to like learn from that and recover and recuperate that, because ultimately it's us to get to our most natural state, a state of happiness, a state of peace, a state of joy and well-being. And so whatever it's going to take for us to work through those things, and you don't know what kind of compound effects that's going to happen if you take that with you on the other side. But I'm not talking about the other side of life, but I'm talking about on the side of this metaphorical life, that if you can get through this pain, this greatest pain that you're experiencing, this greatest challenge, can be the greatest thing that's ever happened for you. The greatest thing that's happened for you, because then this becomes the crux of your success story. So I hope you found this video motivational, in the sense that, you know, you can dig deeper within yourself, that you're not alone, and sometimes we have to sacrifice things, give things up, and begin a new life, a new journey, make amends for the past, let it go. Hey, I just lost one, okay, and I'm going to be an honest man about that. I'm humbled, but I'm going to move forward in peace and make the best of it, because whether I believe it or not right now, I have to speak it into existence. I have to say, because I said so, because it does matter for somehow, some way, and you matter. You matter to some people you might not even know yet. You don't even know the lives you're going to touch or affect, even if it's just one person, even if it's just yourself, because you made the world a better place. But not if you take yourself out. We need more of you to show up. We deserve to have you. You deserve to be a blessing to us, and for us to be in a community and relationship where, you know, the more we get together, the happier we'll be. That we could be one big happy family. And if it's just you doing your one tiny part, then it's worth it, and you've lived your life purpose. And it's about doing it over and over and again, on and on until for eternity. So take this lesson that that you're going through, this experience, see it objectively, get outside of your head. Like I said, go for a walk, fight for yourself. Don't be the person who's like, oh, I tried that, or that doesn't work. I've tried that 100 times, X. I've talked to people already. I've called the hotlines, and I'm still here. Never, never, never give up. That means that's another failure that you can say, you know what? And I failed again, and I came back. So, and that way you can be a testament for someone else, for somebody else. Fight for yourself. Be part of the solution, not of the problem. That is a big statement. Fight for yourself. Be for yourself. Have your back. So, this is Xavier Garcia. Please contact the contacts, or the phone numbers, or the text line if you're feeling any kind of certain way, and never give up on yourself. Believe in yourself. Believe in trust in the process of life, that everything is happening for your good and for the better, even if you don't see it right now, because you say so. And eventually, life will test you. Do you really believe that? Iron sharpens iron. Do you really believe that? Do you understand that? Is that your true belief? And if you say yes, heck yes. And eventually you'll beat that resistance down and be like, okay, you win. And you can you know, start running and go off and stride into the sunset, living the life that you're meant to live. You can, you know, actually find your destiny. So I'm Xavier Garcia. Thank you for watching Ultimate Psychology channel. Until the next video, God bless you, and love is freedom. Peace.